Hello, students. How are you? I hope you're doing well and your preparations are going very well. Students, welcome to the Prashant Chaturvedi online classes. In this lecture of mathematics, we are going to study a new chapter that is complex numbers. Students, what do you mean by complex numbers? Any number, you know that whenever any number is defined in under root, the condition is that that number should be positive. You cannot define a negative number in under the root because whenever you're writing a square root of any number, then the condition is that that square root should be positive. In this chapter, students, we are going to study the negative square roots. That is, what happens when we define a negative number under the root. That is called the square root of a complex number, and also known as the complex number. Students, consider I am writing under root minus 31, under root 52, or under root minus 25, minus 52. One thing is common between all these numbers, that is, I can write them as minus 1 into under root 31, also minus 1 into 52, and minus 1 into 25. So I can write here under root of minus 1 into 31 and under root of minus 1 into 52 and under root of minus 1 into 25. So if I'll write under root a into under root b as under root ab, so this will be written as under root minus 1 into under root 31. This will be written as under root minus 1 into under root 52, and this will be written as under root minus 1 into under root 25. So whenever I am defining a negative square root, one thing is common, that if I am separating it, there is one term common to all the numbers, that is under root minus 1. So we are going to study about this. What is the need of a complex number? Students, consider I am writing x square plus 4 equal to 0. So you know that in 10th class you have studied that if I have to calculate the discriminant here, which is equal to b square minus 4ac, here a is 1, b is 0, and c is 4. So substituting all these values, b square minus 4ac will be negative. Now you know that if d is greater than 0, two real and distinct roots exist. Distinct roots exist. But if d is greater than 0, students, then 2, that is, if d equal to 0, not greater than, if d equal to 0, then two real and equal roots, then not distinct, they are equal, then the roots exist. But students, what happen when d is less than 0? You say no real root exists. You do not say roots do not exist, you say no real roots exist. Real roots do not exist, then what kind of root exists there? There exist imaginary roots. Imaginary roots. What do you mean by imaginary roots, students? Consider I am writing x square plus 4 equal to 0. Then x square should be equal to minus 4 and x should be equal to plus minus under root minus 4. Now again I can write it here under root minus 1 into 4. So this is plus minus under root minus 1 into under root 4. This is plus minus iota under root 4 is 2. So x should be equal to plus minus 2 iota. These are the imaginary roots. They are two imaginary root, students. So Euler was the first mathematician to introduce this symbol, which is iota, that I have written here. Iota means under root of minus 1, students. Why? For the square root of minus 1 he introduced this symbol, because for this solution x square plus 1 equal to 0, x should be equal to plus minus 1 and x will be equal to plus minus under root minus 1. So which is plus minus iota. So if iota is equal to under root minus 1, students, what is iota square? So this should be equal to minus 1, because after squaring both sides, under root cancels out. And he called this symbol as imaginary unit. He called this symbol as imaginary unit. This iota, you can call it iota or imaginary unit. Generally, we will use the term iota. You should know that iota is equal to under root minus 1 and iota square is equal to minus 1, students. Now, let us talk about the integral powers of iota. Students, what is iota raised to power 0? It is defined as 1. Consider I am writing iota raised to power 1, so this should be equal to iota. Consider I am writing iota square, so iota square will be equal to minus 1. Iota cube can be written as iota square into iota, students. Iota square is minus 1, so I can write it as minus iota. Now iota raised to power 4 can be written as iota square into iota square, which is minus 1 into minus 1, and the answer should be 1. If I am calculating iota raised to power 4, I can write it as iota raised to power 4 into iota raised to power 5. So iota raised to power 4 is 1 into iota, the answer should be iota. And you can check the value of iota raised to power 5 and iota, that is equal. Then if you are calculating iota raised to power 6, I can write it as iota raised to power 4 into iota raised to power 2. Iota raised to power 4 is 1 and iota square is minus 1. So the value of iota raised to the power 6, it is just similar to that of iota square, as the value of iota is equal to iota raised to power 4. Consider I am writing iota raised to power 7. So I can write it as iota raised to power 4 into iota cube. So this is 1 into iota cube is minus iota, students. So this should be equal to minus iota. This should be equal to minus iota. Consider I am calculating iota raised to the power 8. So the value of iota raised to power 7 is similar to that of iota cube. Now students, consider I am writing iota raised to power 8. So it will be equal to iota raised to power 4 into iota raised to power 4. So this will be 1 into 1. The answer will be 1, which is similar to that of iota raised to the power 4. Now students, let me calculate one thing from here. So the crux of this thing is that whenever you are writing iota raised to the power 4, this is equal to 1. So whatever will be the term of multiple of iota, that is iota raised to power 4n, this will be equal to 1. For example, iota raised to power 4, iota raised to the power 8, iota raised to the power any number, this will be equal to, not any number, multiple of 4, iota raised to power 4, iota raised to the power 8, iota raised to power 12. All these values should be equal to, this should be equal to 1. So please remember this. One more thing is that iota raised to the power 0 is always equal to 1. Iota raised to power 0 is always equal to 1. Students, can you tell me why iota raised to power 0 or anything raised to power 0 is 1? Please answer it. Please answer it. That why iota raised to the power 0 is always equal to 1. Try to answer it. Now students, let us calculate, let us use this concept. What are the integral powers of iota? Consider you are calculating iota raised to the power 135. Students, I can write, just divide 135 by 4. So if you divide it, this will become 132. So remainder will be 3. So I can write it as iota raised to the power 4 whole raised to the power 33 into iota cube. Iota raised to power 4 is 1. I will not write again and again. I'm writing this just for first question. So iota raised to power 4 is 1 and 1 raised to power anything is 1. So this will become iota cube. Now iota cube is minus iota. So your answer is minus iota. That's your answer, students, minus iota. Now let us solve second question, iota raised to power 19. So iota raised to power 19 will be equal to iota raised to power 4 whole raised to power 4 into iota cube. Iota raised to power 4 is 1, students. 1 raised to power 4 into iota cube is minus iota. So your answer is 1 into minus iota, which will be equal to minus iota. Next is there iota raised to the power 999. So I can write, students, 1 upon iota raised to the power 999, which can further be written as 1 upon, what is iota raised to power 999? So I can write it as iota raised to power, just divide 999 by 4, you'll get 249. 2, 8, 1, 9, 2 4s are 16, 4 4s are 16, and 3 9, 9 4s are 36, 3. So you'll get iota raised to the power 4 whole raised to the power 249 into iota cube. Students, this part will become 1. So this is iota cube only in the denominator, which can be written as minus iota. So just multiply by iota and divide by iota. So you'll get iota divided by minus iota square, which is iota divided by minus 1 into minus 1. Answer is iota, students. Answer is iota. Please remember this thing, that whenever you are getting iota in the denominator, just try to convert in the standard form. What is standard form, students? Any number whenever expressed in the form of a plus iota b, that is called the standard form. So in order to convert 1 upon iota to this form, just multiply by iota and divide by iota, and you will get your number as iota, which is in the standard form. Next question is there, students. What is the value of minus? What is under root minus 1? This is iota, students. This is 4 raised to power n plus 3. So I can say this is equal to minus iota raised to power 4n into minus iota raised to power 3, which can be written as minus of iota raised to power 4 whole raised to power n into minus of iota cube. So iota raised to power 4 is 1, students. So answer, and 1 raised to power anything is 1. So answer should be 1 into, answer should be 1 into minus of, what is iota cube? Again it is iota cube is iota. Minus of iota, which will become minus minus plus iota. So your answer is again iota. So please, students, try to solve as many questions based on this topic. 2 more questions are given here. Iota raised to power 19. So I can write iota raised to power 4 whole raised to power 4 into iota cube plus 1 upon iota raised to the power 25. Students, I can write here iota raised to power 4 whole raised to power 6 into iota whole square, which will be equal to, what is iota raised to power 4? It is 1. And iota cube is minus iota plus 1 upon iota. Again try to convert in standard form. Multiply by iota, divide by iota. So this will become minus iota plus this will become iota, and in denominator this will become iota square, which is minus 1. So this is minus iota whole square, which is minus 2 iota ka whole square. So which will become, students, this will become 4 iota square. Iota square is minus 1. Answer is minus 4, which is what you need to prove here. Next question is iota raised to the power 17. I can write, students, iota raised to power 4 whole raised to power 4 into iota minus 1 upon iota raised to the power 4 whole raised to power 8 into iota square, students, and you can write the square term here. Please try to solve it by yourself, students, because I have taught you every topic here. Now, students, you can write iota raised to the power 4 as 1. So you're left with iota here. and you're left with iota square, which is minus 1. So minus minus, this will become 1 only. Let me just remove it. So you're left with only 1 whole square. Just apply a plus b whole square. So this will become a square plus b square plus 2ab. Iota square is minus 1 plus 2 iota. So they cancel out. Answer is 2 iota, students. Answer is 2 iota. That's your answer. I hope so you got the right answer. Now, let us talk about the imaginary quantities. Students, you know the square root of a negative real number, that is called the imaginary quantity or imaginary number. Under root of minus 31. It is imaginary number. Why? Because you know whenever I write under root x, what is the domain of this? That x should belong to whole numbers. X is either 0 or greater than 0, not less than 0. But I am writing minus under root 31 here, which is less than 0. So students, is it a real number? No, it is not actually a number. This is just an imaginary number. Number that do not exist. That's why I am saying imaginary number here. One theorem is there, students. If a and b are positive real numbers, then under root of minus a into under root of minus b, this can be written as minus of ab. Very, very important theorem. The proof is given here. Under root of minus a can be written as under root minus 1 into a, which will become iota under root a. And similarly, minus under root b will become iota under root b. If you'll multiply them, iota will become iota square and under root ab. Iota square is minus 1, so answer will be minus under root b. Student, I have noted this thing here. Please remember it, that whenever you are writing under root a into under root b equal to under root ab, this is true whenever at least one of the a and b is positive or 0. Students, consider you are writing under root ab, which is equal to under root a into under root b. You can write this theorem if a and b, any one of the a and b, they are positive. Either a is positive or b is positive. One can be a negative number, but one of the two should be positive always, or 0. Only then you can write under root a into under root b. But if under root ab cannot be written as under root a into under root b, under root a into under root b, you cannot write it like this. If a and b both are less than 0, if a and b both are less than 0, then you cannot write under root ab equal to under root a into under root b. Please remember it, students. Now, there is a question that a student writes the formula under root of ab equal to under root of a into under root b. Then he substitute a equal to minus 1 and b equal to minus 1. And he get the answer. Just substitute minus 1 into minus 1, which is equal to under root minus 1 under root minus 1. So this will become 1 under root 1, and this will become iota into iota. So I can write under root of 1 equal to iota square. What is under root 1? It is 1, and iota square is minus 1. So he get the answer 1 equal to minus 1. Explain where he is wrong. He is wrong at this step. At the first step he is wrong. Why? Because you cannot write under root ab as under root a into under root b if both a and b are less than 0. Here a and b both are negative number, that is they are less than 0. So you cannot separate this under root, like you cannot separate under root ab as under root a into under root b. That's where he is wrong. The first step of the student is wrong. Now next, what is a complex number? Any number which can be expressed in the form of a plus iota b, that is called as complex number, students. Any number which can be expressed in the form of a plus iota b, that is called the complex number. And complex number is the father of all numbers. Students, I hope so. You know that all the natural numbers, they are included, they are subset of, just a second, let me erase it. All the natural numbers are subset of whole numbers. All the whole numbers are subset of integers. All the integers are subset of rational numbers, and all the rational numbers are subset of real numbers. But all the real numbers are subset of complex numbers. You will write C or like this, Z, then cut it. This is how I denote a complex number. So any number which can be expressed in the form of a plus iota b, that is called as the complex number. Any number can be expressed in the form of a plus iota b. Consider I am writing 4. So I can write 4 equal to 4 plus 0 into iota. So here a is 4 and b is 0. And b is 0. Students, whenever you are writing z equal to a plus iota b, this a is called the real part of z, and b, the term with iota, that is called the imaginary part of the z, imaginary part. So what is real part of z? A. What is imaginary part of z? This is only b. Do not say iota into b. No. Whatever will be the coefficient of iota, that is known as the imaginary quantity. So the coefficient of iota is b here. So the imaginary quantity is b. Next question is there. Next topic is there, equality of the complex numbers. Consider, students, there are two complex numbers z1 and z2. The z1 is a1 plus iota b1 and the z2 is a2 plus iota b2. Then these two complex numbers are said to be equal if real part of first is equal to real part of second, and the imaginary part of first is equal to imaginary part of second also. So please remember it, that real part of first should be equal to real part of second, and imaginary part of first number should be equal to imaginary part of second number. Only then the two complex numbers are said to be equal. Example, these two numbers are equal. If I'm saying z1 is equal to z2, then 2 minus iota y, this should be equal to x plus 3 iota. So comparing, real part should be equal to real part, so x should be equal to 2, and imaginary part, that is minus y, should be equal to imaginary part, that is 3. So can I say y is equal to minus 3? Y is equal to minus 3. So real part is equal to real part and imaginary part is imaginary part. Imaginary part is equal to imaginary part. So these are the values of x and y. Next question is, how will you add the two complex numbers? Consider, students, there are two complex numbers and you want to add them. The first complex number is a1 plus iota b1 and the second complex number is a2 plus iota b2. So whenever you will add them, you will add the real part with the real part only and imaginary part with imaginary part only. So a1 plus a2 and b1 plus b2. How will you add two complex numbers? Real part should be added with real part and the imaginary part should be added with imaginary part. Students, consider I'm writing, in place of this z1 I'm writing 2 plus 3 iota and the second number is 3 minus 2 iota. So just add real part with real part, that is 2 plus 3, and then add imaginary part with imaginary part. So you'll get 5 plus iota. So that's your answer. After adding two complex numbers, you're also getting a complex number. I hope so you got the idea how to add two complex numbers. Now, what are the properties of the addition? Addition is always commutative, that is z1 plus z2. This is always equal to z2 plus z1. z2 plus z1. Then addition is associative. Students, if I'm writing z1 plus z1 plus z2, z1 plus z2, then this should be equal to z1 plus z2 plus, really sorry, just let me remove it. Write z1 plus z2 plus z3. Take 3 complex numbers, not 2. z1 plus z2 plus z3. Then associate these two complex numbers. This should be equal to z1 plus z2 plus z3, but this time you're associating z2 and z3, so they should be equal. Addition should be associative. Now next is what is existence of additive identity? Students, what do you mean by identity element here? Consider you are writing a complex number. What number should I add in this complex number so that the result will be same? That is known as, that number that you will add here, that is known as the identity element. So the answer is 0. If you will add 0 in this complex number, the result will be same. So you will say 0 is the identity element under addition. So under addition, 0 is the identity element. Next is, what is additive inverse? Students, what do you mean by additive inverse is that what number should I add in the given number, in the given complex number, what number should I add so that the result is 0? That is the identity element. So the answer is minus z. I should add negative of this number so as to get the result 0. So these are the 4 properties that you have to remember at any cost. Addition is commutative, addition is associative, 0 is the identity element, and minus of z, yani ki, minus z, that is negative of this complex number is the additive inverse. Next topic is there, that is the subtraction of the complex numbers. Now what do you mean by subtraction of the complex numbers? Consider, students, you have a1 plus iota b1, and second number is there, that is a2 plus iota b2. So when you're subtracting these two numbers, it is just like that of addition. So you will write a1 plus iota b1 and then minus a2 minus iota b2. Students, this will be equal to a1 minus a2. You will subtract a real part with real part only, and then you will take this iota common, and this will become b1 minus b2. b1 minus b2. You will subtract real part with real part only and imaginary part with imaginary part only. So this is how you will subtract. Example is there, in place of z1 you have minus 2 plus 3 iota, and I have to subtract 4 plus 5 iota from here. So this is z1 minus z2. This will be equal to minus 6 plus 3 iota minus 5 iota. A real part with real part and imaginary part with imaginary part. So answer is minus 6 minus 2 iota. So you can take minus 2 common and you will get 3 plus iota. So this is how you will subtract the two complex numbers. Now students, let's talk about the multiplication of the two complex numbers. Consider the first complex number is a1 plus iota b1 and the second complex number as a2 plus iota b2. So what is z1, z2? Just multiply these two complex numbers, that is a1 plus iota b1 and a2 plus iota b2. Multiply these two complex numbers. So you will get a1 a2 plus iota a1 b2 plus iota b1 a2 plus iota square b1 b2. Students, you will get a1 a2. If you will take iota common, this will become a1 b2 plus b1 a2 minus b1 b2. So your answer should be a1 a2 minus b1 b2 plus, if you will take iota common, a1 b2 plus b1 a2. So this is how you will multiply the two numbers. It is just like that of multiplication of two numbers, nothing extraordinary. For example, the question is, if z equal to, if z1 equal to 3 plus 2 iota and z2 equal to 2 minus 3 iota, then calculate z1 z2. Students, this will be equal to 3 plus 2 iota multiply with 2 minus 3 iota. So if you'll multiply, you'll get 6 minus 9 iota plus 4 iota minus 6 iota square. So this is 6 minus 5 iota, and this is again plus 6. So answer is 12 minus 5 iota. So this is your answer. z1 z2 equal to 12 minus 5 iota, which is also a complex number. I hope so it is clear. Now let's talk about properties of the multiplication. Students, complex number multiplication is always commutative, that is z1 z2 is always equal to z2 z1. Then multiplication is associative, like z1 z2 associated and then multiplied with z3 should be equal to z1 and z2 z3 associative and then multiplied with z1. They should be equal to 1. They should be equal. This is the multiplication. The next is existence of identity element, that what number should I multiply with this complex number so as the result is same. So 1 will be that number. So I will say 1 is the identity element for all the complex numbers under multiplication, under the operation multiplication. Last is their existence of multiplicative inverse. What number should I multiply with this number so as to get the identity element? The identity element is 1, so I will multiply with reciprocal of this number. That is called the multiplicative inverse. So 1 upon z is called the multiplicative inverse. Example, students, they have asked here to calculate the multiplicative inverse of 3 minus 2 iota. So multiplicative inverse is 1 upon z, which will become 1 upon 3 minus 2 iota. So I will write 1 upon 3 minus 2 iota into 3 plus 2 iota by 3 plus 2 iota. So I will write 3 plus 2 iota by, in denominator the formula will become a minus b into a plus b, which is a square minus b square 4 iota square. So it will be 3 plus 2 iota by 9 plus 4, this will become 13. So answer is 3 by 13 plus 2 by 13 iota. Students, I have converted this question in a plus iota b form. A plus iota b form, which is the standard form. You have to convert every question to the a plus iota b form. Please remember it. Now students, let's solve division of a complex number. That is division of a complex number. So the division of a complex number z1 by a non-zero complex number z2 is defined as the multiplication of z1 by the multiplicative inverse of z2. What do you mean by this, students? Consider you're writing z1 by z2. So this is nothing but z1 into 1 upon z2. So can I say z1 is that number, complex number, and I'm multiplying this number with 1 upon z2, that is the multiplicative inverse of z2. This is multiplicative inverse of z2. So this is how I have calculated the division here. Division of two complex numbers is equal to multiplication of a number and first number and multiplicative inverse of second number. Consider you want to calculate z1 by z2 here. So what is z1 by z2? This is equal to z1 first of all, that is 2 plus 3 iota. Then 1 upon z2. So this will become 1 upon 1 plus 2 iota. Now convert this to the standard form, that is 1 minus 2 iota by 1 minus 2 iota. So in numerator you will get 2 plus 3 iota multiplied with 1 minus 2 iota, and in denominator this will become 1 minus 4 iota square. So after multiplying, you'll get 2 minus 4 iota plus 3 iota minus 6 iota square by 1 plus 4. So this is equal to 8 minus iota by 5. So your answer is 8 by 5 minus 1 by 5 iota. I have converted this question to the standard form. 2 plus 4 iota plus 3 iota minus 6 iota square. 6 iota square will become plus 6. That's why 6 plus 2 is 8, and minus 4 iota plus iota is iota here. Students, I hope so division of the two complex number is clear. Now let's talk about two very important properties. The very first is conjugate of a complex number. Students, consider you're writing a number in the standard form a plus iota b. Then complex conjugate of this number is nothing but just change the sign of iota, change the sign of imaginary quantity. That is, just change the sign of imaginary quantity, that is b. If it is plus b, just write minus b. If it is minus b, just write plus b. There are two parts, real part and imaginary part. In order to convert a number, complex number, to its complex conjugate, just change the sign of imaginary part. That's it, nothing special. For example, consider this is a question z and they have asked to calculate the complex conjugate of z. First of all, complex conjugate is denoted by z bar, and this will be equal to 3 plus 4 iota whole bar. So I can write, just change the sign of iota, just change the sign of imaginary part. So you'll get 3 minus 4 iota. Very simple. But students, please remember two things here. The very first is that you can find the conjugate of a number only if that number is in the standard form. Consider the number is 1 upon 3 plus 4 iota, and the question is that calculate its complex conjugate. So you will not write z bar equal to 1 upon 3 minus 4 iota. If you write it like this, your answer is wrong. Students, the very first thing that you have to do here is that you will convert this question to the standard form. How? The question is 1 upon 3 plus 4 iota. You will rationalize 3 minus 4 iota by 3 minus 4 iota, and this will become, z will become equal to 3 minus 4 iota by 3 square 9 plus 16, that is 25. You can do this multiplication here, students. Now your question is in the standard form, a plus iota b. Now in order to calculate the complex conjugate, the answer is 3 by 25 plus 4 by 25 iota. I am just reversing the sign of imaginary part, changing the sign of imaginary part. It was negative here, so I am writing positive. Now students, what are the properties of the conjugate? The very first property is that conjugate of a conjugate is always equal to same number. Consider students, the answer is 3, question is 3 plus 4 iota. If I am writing the conjugate, it will be 3 minus 4 iota. But what will be the conjugate of a conjugate? It will be 3 plus 4 iota. Again, so can I say this is equal to z? So z double bar is equal to z. If I am adding a number to its complex conjugate, the answer is always 2 times the real part. For example, the z is 3 plus 4 iota and z bar is 3 minus 4 iota. So if I'm adding z plus z bar, you can check 4 iota cancel. This is 2 times 3 part, which is 2 times the real part. And if I am subtracting, it is 2 times imaginary part, not iota. Students, do not write iota here. It is 2 times the imaginary part only. Consider students that z equal to z bar, that is the number is equal to its complex conjugate. Students, it is possible only if the z is purely real. Consider z is equal to 2. What is z bar? Z bar is also equal to 2. So you will say that number is equal to its complex conjugate. And it is possible if and only if this number is purely real. Now students, consider there is a number z and you are adding its complex conjugate in this number. So this should be, if this is equal to 0, then it is clear that it is a purely imaginary quantity. Let me give you an example. If z equal to 4 iota, so what is z bar? It is minus 4 iota. And if I'm adding these two quantities, it is 0. Z plus z bar equal to 0. So why? Why z plus z bar equal to 0? Because 4 iota was purely imaginary quantity. Then one of the very important properties is the z multiplied with z bar. So this is always equal to real part of z square. Consider, students, z equal to a plus iota b and z bar equal to a minus iota b. So if I'm multiplying a plus iota b with a minus iota b, this will be equal to a square minus b square. A square minus b square, or a square plus b square, not minus. So this is equal to real part of z square plus imaginary part of z square. If the complex conjugate is like this, z1 plus z2, you can separate it. You can separate it in difference also. You can separate it in multiplication and in division also. Please write down like this: z1, z2 bar. So these are the properties of the complex conjugate. Very easy properties. Just write them down. You have to learn these properties. Next is modulus of a complex number, students. What do you mean by modulus of a complex number? Consider the number is a plus iota b, then modulus of a complex number is denoted by modulus of z like this, and this is always equal to real part square plus imaginary part square. So it is always positive. Consider the question is 3 minus 4 iota. So what is mod of z? This will be equal to 3 square plus minus 4 square. So which is 3 square plus 4 square is 9 plus 16, 25, and 25's under root is 5. Consider I am writing 1 plus under root minus 3. So can I say 1 plus iota root 3? So what is z3 mod? This will be equal to real part square plus imaginary part square. So this is 4, which is 2. That's your answer, students. 2. Modulus of a complex number. I hope so. This is clear. Now, students, let us talk about the properties of the modulus. Consider, students, there are 3 complex numbers, z, z1 and z2. If modulus of any number is 0, this is possible if and only if that number is 0. That is, if its real as well as imaginary part is equal to 0, only then modulus of a complex number is 0. Very important property, that is modulus of z, this is always equal to modulus of its complex conjugate, and this is always equal to modulus of negative of that number. Modulus of a number, modulus of a negative of that number, and modulus of its conjugate, all are equal. Then real part of z always lies between minus mod z and mod z. Same goes for imaginary part, it always lies between mod of z and z. Again, very important property, that is whenever you will multiply a number by its complex conjugate, it will be equal to modulus of z square. You can separate this mod in multiplication as well as division. Not in case of addition, students, or subtraction, in case of multiplication. Please remember it. These are the properties of the modulus. One more term is there, that is reciprocal of a complex number. Consider, students, there is a number a plus iota b. What is reciprocal of this complex number? It is equal to 1 upon a plus iota b. So it is just like that of multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. Students, can I say one thing, that is multiplicative inverse and reciprocal of a number are same thing. So if they are asking to calculate the reciprocal of a number, just calculate the multiplicative inverse. It's same thing. I hope so. Reciprocal of a complex number is clear. Consider you are provided with 3 plus 4 iota. So what is reciprocal of this number? It is 1 upon 3 plus 4 iota, but my question is not in the standard form. So I will multiply by, just rationalize the denominator. So you will get 3 minus 4 iota and this is 9 plus 16, which is 25. So answer is 3 by 25 minus 4 by 25 iota. I have calculated it again and again, that's why you can remember it now. Now students, let us solve some questions based on this topic. Now express each of the following in the standard form. Students, just multiply by 3 plus 4 iota and divide by 3 plus iota 4 iota. That is, rationalize the denominator. So you will get 3 plus 4 iota by, it is 9 minus 16 iota square. So this is 3 plus 4 iota by 25, and answer is 3 by 25 plus 4 by 25 iota. That's your answer. 3 by 25 plus 4 by 25 iota. Next question is there, B part. So just multiply it. 3 2s are 6 plus 3 3s are 9 iota minus 4 iota minus 6 iota square by, it is 2 minus iota plus 4 iota minus 2 iota square. So this is 6 plus 5 iota plus 6 by 2 plus 3 iota plus 2. So this is 12 plus 5 iota by 4 plus 3 iota. Now convert this in standard form, that is, rationalize the denominator. 4 minus 3 iota by 4 minus 3 iota, which will become 48 minus 36 iota plus 20 iota minus 15 iota square by, in the denominator you'll get 16 plus 9. So this will be equal to 48 minus 16 plus 15 by 25. So right answer is 48 plus 15 is how much, students? It is 63. So 63 by 25 minus 16 by 25 iota. This is your standard form. Next question is there. In the numerator you will have a plus b into a minus b, which will become a square minus iota under root 5 whole square by, in denominator just subtract these two numbers. So under root 3 plus under root 2 iota minus under root 3 plus under root 2 iota. So you'll write 9 iota square is minus 1, so 9 plus 5 by under root 3 cancels out, 2 under root 2 iota. So this is 14 divided by 2 root 2 iota, students. Just convert this question in the standard form. How? You have 7 under root 2. In denominator you have iota, so multiply by iota and divide by iota. Your answer is 7 iota by under root 2 iota square. Iota square is always 1, students, so answer is minus 7 iota by root 2. That's your answer, students. That's how I expressed in all these numbers in the standard form, that is a plus iota b. Next question is that prove that all these complex numbers are purely real. That is, after solving this question you will get a real number. So in denominator just apply the formula a plus iota b into a minus iota b, which is a square minus b square by, in denominator you will get 9 minus 16 iota square. So this is 4 plus 9, and in denominator you will get 9 plus 16. So this is 13 by 25. That's your answer, which is a simple real number. That's why it is purely real. No iota part is there with this question. The next question is like this. Just multiply it. Take the LCM. So 2 plus 3 iota is multiplied with 3 plus 2 iota. 3 plus 2 iota multiplied with 2 plus 3 iota, and add it with 3 minus 2 iota multiplied with 2 minus 3 iota. And in denominator you have a minus b into a plus b, which is a square minus b square. Students, this will be equal to 6 plus 9 iota plus 4 iota plus 6 iota square plus 6 minus 9 iota minus 4 iota plus 6 iota square by 4 plus 9. 9 iota cancels with 9, 4 iota cancels with 4. So you'll get 6 minus 6 plus 6 minus 6 by 13. Everything cancels out in numerator. The answer is 0, which is purely real. That's why this number is also purely real. Then there are some questions based on the equality of the numbers. Consider, students, I am writing 3x minus 7 plus 2y into iota. This will be equal to minus 5y plus 5 plus x into iota. So if these two complex numbers are equal, real part should be equal to real part. So I'll get a value here. 3x plus 5y should be equal to 7. This is the equation number 1. And imaginary part 2y, this should be equal to the imaginary part, that is 5 plus x. So I can write that is x minus 2y equal to minus 5. This is equation number 2. So just solve 1 and 2. The one is 3x plus 5y equal to 7 and the other is x minus 2y equal to minus 5. Students, just multiply this number with 3 and then subtract. So they will cancel out. 5y plus 6y, it is 11y, and this will be equal to 15 plus 7, that is 22. Students, y is 2. Then substitute this y equal to 2 in equation number 1 or 2. I'm substituting in 2. So you'll get x minus 4 equal to minus 5 and x should be equal to minus 5 plus 4, which is minus 1. So x is equal to minus 1 and y equal to 2 is your right answer. Just solve the second question, students. Before solving it, do not compare it until or unless it is converted. You have to convert this in standard form first of all. So you will write x minus iota x plus y plus iota y. This will be equal to 1 minus 3 iota. Now write x plus y and then take iota common. You will get y minus x equal to 1 minus 3 iota. Now compare both sides. I'll say real part is equal to real part and imaginary part should be equal to imaginary part. So can I say one thing, that minus x plus y equal to minus 3 and here it is x plus y equal to 1. Just add two quantities, you'll get 2y equal to minus 2 and y equal to minus 1. Y equal to minus 1. Now substitute this value in equation number 1, that is x plus y equal to 1. So you'll write x minus 1 equal to 1 or x equal to 2. So you'll get x equal to 2, students. So there are two values, x is equal to 2 and y equal to minus 1. Question number 8 is there, students. That is, if a plus iota b equal to c plus iota by c minus iota, then prove that a square plus b square equal to 1. Students, let me convert this question in standard form. How will I do that? I'll just rationalize the denominator here, that is c plus iota by c plus iota. So I'll get c plus iota whole square by, in denominator you'll get c square minus iota square. This will become c square plus 1 plus iota square by, just a second, you'll write just a second, let me erase it. You'll apply a plus iota b whole square. So this will be c square plus iota square plus 2c iota by, this will become c square plus 1. So I will write c square minus 1 plus 2c iota by c square plus 1 and then it will become c square minus 1 by c square plus 1 plus iota time 2c by c square plus 1. This is a plus iota b. So I will write a is equal to c square minus 1 by c square plus 1 and b equal to 2c divided by c square plus 1. 2c by c square plus 1. Students, now let me square and add them. A square plus b square will be equal to, what is a square? It is c square minus 1 by c square plus 1 whole square, and then add 2c by c square plus 1 whole square. So this will become c raised to power 4 plus 1 minus 2c square plus 4c square, and in denominator you'll get c square plus 1 whole square. So this will become c raised to power 4 plus 1 plus 2c square, and if you'll open the denominator you'll get c raised to power 4 plus 1 plus 2c square. So they will cancel. The answer is 1. So a square plus b square is nothing but 1, hence proved. Please remember this thing that I think you have noticed this thing in every question, that I am converting every question in standard variable form, that is a square plus a plus iota b equal to complex number. This is what I'm trying to do here. Question number 9 is there, students, that multiply 3 minus 2 iota with its conjugate. Its conjugate will be, I'll just change the sign of iota term, that is imaginary term. So you'll get 3 plus 2 iota. So this is in the form of a minus b into a plus b. So which can be written as a square minus b square 4 iota 2 iota square. So this is 3 square is 9 minus 4 iota square. So this is 9 plus 4, which is 13. So that's your answer. Next question is find the conjugate of this. Students, I told you you cannot find the conjugate until your question is in the standard variable form. So what I'm trying to do here, just convert this question in standard form. How? By rationalizing the denominator. So I'm writing 3 minus 4 iota by 3 square minus 16 iota square. So this is 3 minus 4 iota by 9 plus 16, which can be written as 3 by 25 minus 4 by 25 iota. So this is my question. Students, let me convert this question in the standard variable form, that is 3 by 25 plus 4 by 25 iota. So that's your answer. 3 by 25 plus 4 by 25 iota. That's your answer. I hope so it's clear. Now students, let us solve the last question for today. Find the real number x and y if x minus iota y into 3 plus 5 iota is the conjugate of minus 6 minus 24 iota. So what are they trying to say here? That is the conjugate of this minus 6 minus 24 iota is x minus iota y and 3 plus 5 iota. So let me multiply them. It is 3x plus 3x plus, just a second, just multiply it, 3x plus 5x iota plus 5x iota minus 3 iota y and minus 5 iota square y. This is equal to conjugate of this number, which is minus 6 plus 24 iota. So I will write 3x plus 5x iota minus 3 iota y plus 5y is equal to minus 6 plus 24 iota, minus 6 plus 24 iota. Then students, the real part will be written together. So you will write 3x plus 5y and iota, the terms with iota, just take iota common, you will get 5x minus 3y. This is equal to minus 6 plus 24 iota. Then compare both sides. The real part should be equal to real part, and imaginary part 5x minus 3y, this should be equal to imaginary part 24. Just multiply this term by 5 and this by 3. and then subtract minus plus minus. They will cancel out. 25 plus 9 will become 34y, students. This will be equal to minus 30 and minus 72, that is minus 102. Students, y will be equal to minus 102 by 34, which is minus 3. So substitute this y equal to minus 3 in equation number 1. So 3x plus 5y, that is 5 into minus 3. This should be equal to minus 6, students. From here you'll get this is equal to minus 6. So you'll get 3x minus 15 equal to minus 6, and 3x equal to 9, and x equal to 3. So these are your answer. X is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 3. That's your answer. Most of the topics I have taught you today are the basics of the complex numbers. Other than these topics, there are two topics that I have to teach you in my next lecture of complex numbers. That is the square root, how to find the square root of a complex number, and how to convert any number in the polar form. So students, that's it in this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Prashant Chaturvedi, which is providing you the best material to crack this exam. Students, thank you so much. Take care.